The draft picks are in. We know who's going to be part of the 2025 49ers. Now, how can they help? Can they fix this run defense? We're going to go to the film, break down exactly what was going wrong, and how some of these new rookies might help fix it on today's Gold Standard Podcast. Off to a good start. Hit the wrong video clip. That was not the close. Okay, well, here we go. What is good, everybody? I'm Rob Stats Carrera. Can't hit the right open. I apologize for that. I promise the rest of the video part of this show will be much better than that. I'm Rob Stats Carrera alongside Johnny Dell from the Johnny Dell Football Academy YouTube channel. Our first show, Johnny. I promise it'll be smoother sailing after that. We don't have a name for the show yet, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited for this through the rest of this offseason into the season. I love talking 49ers football. I mean, what a joy it is and a privilege to be able to talk about it and actually have people show up. I mean, it's one thing to, like, my wife gets tired of hearing me talk about the 49ers, so I get to talk about it with somebody else. So it's amazing.
The community here at Gold Standard and really everywhere with 49ers fans and the content creators is incredible. So we are looking forward to breaking it all down together. If anybody has questions, throw them in the chat. I promise we'll get to as many as we can. Really quick, before we get to the film breakdown, though, I just want to say this is our first show. So just the vision for this show in general, what this will be once we get to the regular season, is going to be testing the narratives, because we all know what happens, right? We watch the game on Sunday, we see the TV copy, and we all come away with takes. Me especially on Sundays, especially when they lose, I'm rip-roaring, firing them off in the instant reaction show. And so many times when I would watch the film later that week, I would say, you know what? I was wrong about that, or that's not what really was happening. I couldn't see that when I watched on TV. And so sometimes these narratives just take over because people just watch the games and then they live their life. They don't have time to watch the film breakdown. So what I want to do is, we do have the time here. We do have the film. We will watch it for you, and then we will show you what the film shows, and you can decide for yourself whether the narrative is true or whether we need to change what we're thinking and saying about this team.
Absolutely. And look, it's not just you. I don't know how many times I've been live tweeting during a game and I'll see something and I'll, just hose on somebody. What did you do? Why, what was on that with somebody? And then you watch the film and you go, oh, okay, that wasn't what I thought it was. I remember a prime example was the game against the Chiefs last year. I took a blowtorch to Ronnie Bell when Brock Purdy threw an interception there, because I thought Ronnie Bell ran the wrong route. I thought it was a side adjustment route or coverage adjustment route, excuse me, and it wasn't. And when I watched the film, I went, okay, and I was able to cross-reference where it was. And as I watched the film, I understood why it was thrown the way it was. But what Brock said in the press conference afterwards made 100% sense. I went, okay, I pieced together what he said to what the film showed us, and it was like, okay, yeah, Brock can't do that, but I do understand why he did that, but can't do that.
Okay, so then let's get started. We're going to look primarily at some of the rookies and what they can do to help. But first, you texted me this morning and said you have a couple of clips that show us, just sort of in a nutshell, what was going wrong for the 49ers defense last season.
Yeah, absolutely. We had some serious issues, especially when it came to run defense last year. And it was after I broke down the Rams game, I saw the same thing happen over and over and over again. And I said it during that breakdown video when I do my published videos. I said, until we prove we can stop this, teams are going to just keep running this at us over and over and over again. Because I saw the Rams run this play probably 12, maybe 13 times in the game. And I only remember 1 or 2 times that they got less than 5 yards on every run. And they actually ran it from the same formation, from the same personnel. At one point, they ran it 3 times in a row, and they got 5 yards, 6 yards, and 7 yards.
And this is week 3, the Rams game. So this is early in the year.
Yes, this was very early in the year, the game that we should have won and ended up not. So I've got a clip here pulled up for that. You should be able to see it on your options there. There it is. So this is a classic it's kind of, there's debate on, is it an inside zone or is it not? Greg Roman used to call this power no puller. Different guys have called this duo a lot. That's what it's more known by, is duo, where you're just going to have double team blocks across the board here. So you're going to have double teams, and the difference on like an inside zone versus a duo is that there's vertical movement is what they're trying to do. They're trying to move vertically with these double teams and then peel off and go get your second level linebackers. So
and
they
the 49ers do this themselves on offense.
Yeah, we do some of this. We don't run a lot of duo. Let me see if white shows up a little bit better. Try and go with team colors. We don't do this a lot. We do more tight zone when we do inside. We do a little bit more when we do stuff inside. It's just going to be straight man. But when you run a wide 9, when you face duo a lot, the big thing is these guys have got to soak up these double teams and hold down the fort for a little bit until you can have the linebackers close this distance. Else you're gonna have these guys with offensive linemen in their lap, and it's gonna get really tough. So, and again, this is first quarter against the Rams. Okay, so here it goes. It starts out well. You got the double teams, and you're starting to soak it up. Okay. But immediately, boom, here's Malik Collins peeled off, and he's going to get Fred Warner. And then on the edge with Leonard Floyd, immediately peeled off and going to get Devondre Campbell. And so already you have this lane through here, and you're going to have a lane through here. The running back can pretty much choose where he wants to go. And that's the idea here, is they train these guys over and over again, see where a linebacker flashes, see where color flashes, and go opposite. That's how they train these in practice. And so he sees color flash, and he's just going to run right off the other side behind Malik Collins, as Malik Collins is getting driven out of the hole. And now you have a wide open gash through the middle.
Because those blockers have peeled off, and they're now blocking the second level linebacker. So there's literally no one there to make a tackle.
Correct. I mean, you're just they're getting off these combos so quick, just bam and go. Like, they don't have to worry about occupying. So you have singles and singles now, and your linebackers are kept dirty, as we would say. They're not clean. So you just have a gap. And so where the contact is happening is 5 yards off the ball. And so this is a 6-7 yard run just there. I mean, it's not one of those that you're going to look at and you're going to say it's going to be on the highlight reel. It's not going to show up necessarily on the stat sheet of everything. But when you get hit with this 5, 6, 7 times, 2 or 3 times in a drive, and you're now 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 4, every drive, multiple times, this becomes a problem. And this is really important to note, because I think it was Guy Haberman had CJ West's defensive coordinator on his channel. And one thing he said specifically is CJ West, one thing he's going to be able to do, he's going to be able to soak up those duo blocks, and he's going to really let the linebackers fly around. This is exactly what we're talking about. These are the duo blocks, exactly what he's talking about. He's saying he's going to eat those up, keep your linebackers clean. Okay, so the Bills ran this on us in the snow a ton of times. Everybody ran this on us. Everybody that saw us said, we're going to go do that. Now we go to, this is the first game against the Seahawks. We had problems when we tried to do any of these stunts and twists that were so good under Robert Saleh, so good under DeMeco Ryans. Well, now you're bringing in somebody like Leonard Floyd and Malik Collins that don't move quite like they used to, or the guys that we used to have. We had decent pass rush in this game when they just let these guys go. But the problem was, as they just said, okay, go win your one-on-ones, eventually the Seahawks are doubling and chipping, and you don't have counters to that. At one point, they were lining up a running back out here, and he was blasting Leonard Floyd after Leonard Floyd had three pressures, just blasting him every time, because you now can do that, and this guard doesn't have to help out the tackle at all. Now the guard's going to come down on Malik Collins, and they'd have a tight end that would chip and release on Bosa, and now you're hoping for like Jordan Elliott or Evan Anderson or, Kevin Givens to win their one-on-one as a pass rusher. That's not a good plan. That's not going to work out well. So one thing you can do if they put a running back out here and they're trying to chip down is you run a little stunt here. So you're going to bring both defensive tackles across, and you're going to bring Leonard Floyd around. That way they can't chip and double team him. And because the center is going to have to pick that up, now you should have an open lane. Should. Okay. And you're going to see this open up pretty early that, okay, this is exactly what you want. Fred's going to come this way. He's going to draw the guard. You're drawing the center over. You now need Leonard Floyd to be able to come around and get up in this hole. If you do, you've got a wide open gap right here, right? And you would like to see Malik Collins grab this center a little bit more so he can't peel off. But Leonard Floyd's feet were not what they used to be. Watch him on this. I saw this not just once, not just twice. I saw this probably 10 times on the year where they would run these. He trips over his own foot. Like he catches Malik Collins' foot. It's because his hips aren't what they used to be. He should be coming up, stopping and looping around. He's trying to come up and come straight across the line. You're going to run into your own guys. He didn't have the kind of juice to pull these stunts that he used to. And you see on this play what happens when you give an NFL quarterback like Geno Smith a perfectly clean pocket. He delivers a great ball down the sideline and it exposes your corners. So we just were not able to run these games effectively. I mean, we used to run this, and when you'd get a hole like this, somebody was screaming through here, and it'd be Matt Stafford or Geno or somebody. They'd see that and immediately bail out and take off and be running for their life. And then you get Fred Warner chasing them down. That's the plan here, is you get pressure up the middle, and if you flush him, you have your best chase down linebacker running down the quarterback. We did not get that very much at all last season.
And I just feel like you said it too, how like teams will watch the 5-yard gain type of play and be like, oh my God, they just got completely blown off the ball. We're just going to do that again and again and again. They watch these plays like this and they pick these things out. And then that's all you see until you've proven you can stop it. And you just picked one play an example from week 3 and then another example from week 6. So this is early in the year that these things are becoming apparent. And then or offenses are like, well, we know how to attack this. They haven't been able to fix it all year long. And the Niners never did fix it all year long, unfortunately. And so what we got because of that is Leonard Floyd is out. 11 new rookies are in. The first 5 rookies are picked on defense. What have you seen that makes you think that they might be able to fix it this coming season?
Yeah, and that completely ties into why they let Leonard Floyd go, why they let Malik Collins go. Malik Collins was just not good. And part of the tackling being so horrible last year had to do with what you see here. There was just too much space. I think Dieter said it really well on your show last week. He was talking about how Nick Bosa was complaining to him about how they couldn't set a freaking edge on the other side. And that is 100% true. The only guy who could was Sam O. And that's why Sam O started to get more playing time. He would actually compress the edge a little bit. And, he said Nick was talking about that, it was like this huge revelation moment. That didn't happen until like week 6 or 7. I think week 6 against the Seahawks here was the first time I started to see Sam O get some serious playing time. He was pushed into service, not because they thought he was going to be that great, because Leonard Floyd just was not holding up on the edge. So, yeah, we're going to see, then the 49ers went into the draft and they said, okay, we're going to fix these issues. We're going to get tougher, and mainly we're going to get tougher against the run, and we're going to get some more athletic guys. Yep, here we go. This is week 1 against Clemson for Mykel Williams of Georgia. So I really was interested in this game because the first 2 quarters, his athleticism was really popping off the charts. Because in the third quarter, and I found the play it happened, he suffered a high ankle sprain, a really bad high ankle sprain. You could see it. I posted it on X for people to see. But the questions have come around of, okay, what does he bring in the pass rush? And again, I do think that high ankle really slowed him down, but he was still productive. But we're going to see what did they really like about him. He's right here. This is also why some of the pass rush numbers were harder to define, because so many times he was rushing from inside the tackle, not outside here. that really does make life harder for a pass rusher. But what I want to focus on here is watch his hands. He has some violent, powerful hands that he knows how to use. Now, he doesn't get to the quarterback. This is also a throw that is forced to be put short of the first down. I'm going to slow this down because I just want to show it in full speed so we can see how violent he is with this. But watch his hands. This tackle is never able to get a block on him. You're going to see the swipes, the pops, the throws. He beats that tackle. If I'm grading a pass rush, I'm saying that's a win for the pass rusher. Again, here you see the violence. He keeps the guy's hands off of him and then throws him off, and he's able to go now attack the quarterback. Again, the ball is out quick. This is basically a 3-step drop. It's a quick slant on like 3rd and 8. So this isn't exactly like, you're okay with that. And it was tight coverage, everything, but you can see that the safety was saying it's 4th down. So you see violent hands, really powerful puncher. You see that. Then we're going to see defending the run in space. So he's over here. They're going to try and run a little quarterback tray here. So they're going to pull a couple guys. The quarterback's going to lead out. He ends up, the rest of the defense bites on this whole thing as they Z down. And then he's got to take on now 2 pullers. Watch the quickness to sidestep this block, though. He gives him the old Olay and just slips it, and the quarterback just goes down.
So there's 2 offensive linemen that are coming at him that are pulling, and he's the only Georgia guy on that side. And he not only does he avoid both linemen, but he also causes the quarterback to basically just give up.
Yep, and it's a tackle for loss. I mean, when you talk about an edge player able to play the run in space, it's there. Then he's here on the edge to the other side. Here, a tackle's going to go try and push him out. What I wanted to highlight here is, and I posted a zoomed in on this, is his ability to use his length. I mean, when you talk about setting a hard edge, he sets that edge, long arms the tackle, and you can see the tackle's other arm. Like, he's not able to get any anchor point. He's now completely controlling the tackle within the first 2 steps, sets a hard edge. I mean, that long arm, as the tackle is reaching for him, can't touch him, can't even get a hand on his body. He now holds him, disengages, and makes the tackle. That is a hard edge in the run. So we'll see it again in slow motion. This kid sets the hardest edge of any of the edges in this class. I mean, just look at the arm extension on this tackle when he engages. He's going to hit and then press him off, keep the length out, and go make the tackle. That is not... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say his arms are so long, like you said. The other tackle literally can't touch him because his arms don't reach. That's why they always talk about they want long arm length for defensive linemen. It's because you control the interaction when the other guy can't freaking reach you. And oh, by the way, Mykel Williams had the longest arms of any edge rusher in this entire class.
100%. And it shows up on film. And he plays with nastiness. So he's here in what we call a 4-eye. So head up inside the tackle. This is a little hard to see, but he's going to take this tackle, or excuse me, this was a different clip. I have my notes a little off, but he's got to stand up against a double team. They're going to come down, double him. Watch how he holds up on this double team. So we were just talking about the duo block. Didn't Leonard Floyd not holding up on that double team? Boom. That is a man holding up against a double team on the edge. And that edge is not getting widened at all. So this running back immediately is going to cut back. Okay, that's not on Mykel Williams. He is holding a freaking edge against 2 guys and just nasty with it. And you can see him just look at the fight. I love it. Yes. Does everything. There's so many clips here that I have just overall of Mykel Williams in the run game that are so impressive. Really love this kid. He is exactly what this defense needed. And
by the way, as you pull up another clip, Lisa's 49er says, so we get to see Johnny on here every Thursday? Yes, you do. 100% you absolutely do. New show here. We don't even have a name for it yet, but every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to be here breaking down the film. getting into the good, bad, and ugly, and not just all good stuff too. Don't worry, we'll do bad stuff. Where it's not just going to be glaze the 49ers on the show.
Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, so I got the next run of clips here.
Is this
continuing
Mykel
on?
still?
Yeah, we still got Mykel. I mean, kid's got a lot of good tape. Yeah, so it should be there on your screen.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, so now he's going to be here again. 4I. That's where he was a lot in Georgia's 3-4.
What is 4I mean for people that don't know?
So 4I is head up inside the tackle. So 5 technique would be like what Justin Smith ran with Vic Fangio when he was with us. He was head up on the tackle. 4I is head up inside of the tackle. You're seeing more 4I in the league now because a lot of the zone blocking and everything, but it's harder. It's more of like that 3-4 defensive end than a true 4-3 defensive end. But that shouldn't scare people. The fact that he can hold up against the run the way he does from this position at his size, at his height, is really impressive. So watch what he does with the tackle here. This is the one I was thinking about. So this tackle, first and foremost, he's able to stay inside the tackle. This tackle is trying to get his head on the opposite side. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, watch him take this tackle, and you're going to see, it's a little hard to see. You're going to see his tackle end up falling down. He doesn't fall down. He gets thrown down by Mykel Williams. You're going to see him here. There he goes, just thrown to the ground. Now, this guy breaks out of there. I don't know how he got away. Kirby Smarts probably was chewing his whole back end out about this for letting that come out. But when you talk about controlling your man and throwing him down, he is the creator of piles. That is what I saw with Mykel Williams so much. He creates piles. So then another aspect that he brings, if I just remind everybody of the Leonard Floyd clip that I showed earlier of trying to run some stunts, didn't have that athleticism to loop around. Okay, now we're going to see Georgia run this. They're going to come in and they're going to loop Mykel Williams around. It's not as much about that the quarterback gets the ball off, but you see the ability to do it.
He actually gets to the goal, first of all.
Right. He's going to be able to come up, stop, and then come up. And now this is, again, off of a left high ankle sprain. It's his left foot that had the high ankle sprain. So stopping and go, that's why he's a little not quite as sharp, but again, because he can't plant on that left foot. But he's still able to get around, and he's in the hole, and the quarterback has to get rid of the ball. That's the stuff we didn't see from Leonard Floyd. You have the ability to do that with Mykel Williams now. Love it. You're going to see him here in a true pass rush from inside. So he's just going to beat this guard. Boom. First step quickness. He's already passed him right up here, and he's going to go. That first step burst, that's something that Chris Kosurik loves. And now he's going to get him. Now he's got to finish the sack. Got to finish the sack. I don't know how they don't get this kid. This guy took off running. I was like, how did he get out of there? But the first step quickness is there. He's able to definitely get on the move and get to the quarterback, especially from inside. All right, next clip here. This is going to be, you're going to see him out on the edge. And again, he's going to be able to control the edge against the run. This is another run. Look at the long arms to press and hold. Now, again, Kirby probably really chewed out his guy here. He's supposed to fill. This guy's supposed to come in and fill as well. And he ends up getting 8 trickles out of here. He should be up in here for a tackle. We should have a tackle because you have a really hard edge set by Mykel Williams. Doesn't happen, but he's going to still be able to peel off. That's what these long arms allow him to do, because you watch him as he sets this edge. He's going to read. He sets, and then now he peeks. Where's the running back? He's keeping to where the running back is. I've controlled my blocker. I'm watching. When he commits, disengage and go get it. That's what you love to see from an edge. He's controlling that spot. The other guys, they didn't feel like they were supposed to. That's not on him. But now we're going to see him inside. Again, he can take on the double teams. He's going to anchor in here, take on this, stand up the guard. They want to run right through that hole. The running back runs right into the back of the dude that he's blocking because he stood him up. He's held him in there. That is power when you are 270 going against a 300-pound guard who's trying to dislodge you. It's just really impressive. And then here, they're going to try and cut him off with a little movement block. The guy's going to try and cross his face to cut him off for a backside on a run away from him. He's got the movement, doesn't let it happen. He beats the tackle to the spot. And so now he's one across, and he's able to get down the line and make the tackle with those long arms. That's stuff that we just didn't see in years past, or in last year.
It's so encouraging. Like, I wish they could play games today. I just want to say, I'm getting all pumped up. I'm getting excited. I want to see, these guys out on the field. Now, we will see the rookie minicamp, not this weekend, but next weekend is rookie minicamp. So at least we'll see, a little bit. I mean, they don't really do too much, but at least there's something there. But that gets me excited because it was a slow death for the 49ers last season. It was so frustrating. And I got so used to in years past, the running back would get to the line of scrimmage basically, and that's where the run would die. That's it. It wouldn't go anywhere. And last year it was like, nope, right through, no problem. It was like a turnstile in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it was death by 1,000 cuts. It's just, you were constantly in second and short, constantly in third and short. And it just was so frustrating. So now we're going against the real big boys, Texas here. Now this is for the SEC championship. So this was not Kelvin Banks. He was not playing here. But one thing that jumps off the tape is he's also got a really high motor. So they're going to run a little play action fake. So they're going to pull a guard and they're going to pull a tight end to come block him across. Watch the motor. Doesn't give up. And I saw this so many times. He's going to first take on the first guy, take on the second guy, keep going, and go sack the quarterback. That's the Robert Saleh, all gas, no brakes, keep going. Nobody can block him, and goes and gets the sack. Oh my goodness. I love this kid. Like, I'm so pumped for this pick. You're going to see him here. He's now coming from the traditional wide 9. This is where we're going to see him a lot more. Watch him set this tackle up on a speed rush and then duck inside. He's got the quickness. Whoo! Ole! And he's through there and forces a pick. It's not always about the sacks. Can you force the quarterback into a bad decision? And that's exactly what you see here. We'll run it in full speed so you can see how quick this is. Oh, my goodness. Right through there. Oh, then gets the pick. In the biggest game of the year.
I want to see more of that too. I feel like even when the 49ers pass rushers win, it takes them so long. There's not a lot of quick pressure. Even with Bosa, like, most of the time, he doesn't win immediately right off the snap. It takes him a little while. He disengages with the hands and eventually he gets there. But I want to see some quick wins too. So that's what's encouraging to me there.
Yeah. And here again from the wide 9, sets the edge in the run game. You see this against every tackle. Look at the length. Look at the tackle's head cocked back. He's got his hand on grabbing the guy's hand. So his hand fighting and his hand technique is really good. He really understands how to use this. Sets it in there and then disengages and goes and makes the tackle. You see this over and over again. They want to run this outside. They want to widen this and try and seal this off and run through here. That's where Texas wants to run this ball. And they can't because the edge is set right here. And you get a decent work from the inside tackle. And the running back has to cut back up inside. He's got nowhere to go. So you set that hard edge over and over and over again. When people say he was the best edge setter in this class, it wasn't just a statement. Like, that is 100% true. You're going to see him again here at the 4-eye, anchor against a double team. This is against Texas. This is not against, as my co-host likes to say, the Corpus Christi Nuns. Like, this is against Texas, anchoring inside against a double team. That is that duo block. That's that same thing. You're eating this up.
He doesn't get moved.
Nope, does not get moved. You see the running back has to stop and try and find a hole because there's no movement at all. He's able to be there. And then we're going to see him here in the wide 9. This was the heavyweight bout. Mykel Williams versus Kelvin Banks Jr. on the edge. Watch him, the way he uses his length, his speed, his first step.
And
Oh, look at that double swipe. That is a perfect double swipe. And then dig in. Kelvin Banks has those long arms, but he's going to bend and use that power around the corner and strip sack.
And is this after the ankle injury?
This is after the ankle injury. This was actually, I think, only 8 weeks after the ankle injury, and he'd been playing on it for 5 weeks. And so when you're playing on that, it doesn't just heal itself. Like, that is a tough, nagging injury, and you see it. Oh, man. And that's against one of the top, probably the best pass blocking tackle in this draft. Kelvin Banks was high and went high for a reason. And the biggest reason was his long arms. He's a very long arm tackle. And you can see how he has a hard time dealing with that length and power from Mykel Williams. So a lot to love there from Mykel.
That is fantastic and encouraging. And that's the kind of stuff I want to see from my first round pick. Like, let him do the things that he is good at. Ask him to do what he is already good at. And it sounds like that's exactly what the 49ers are going to do. And I can't wait to see it out on the field. But beyond Mykel Williams, give me what else you got for me beyond the first round pick. Because if this defense is going to get any better, they're going to need a hell of a lot more than just one good player.
Absolutely. So a guy that I didn't know a ton about coming into the draft that I kind of made my eyebrows pop up was CJ West. He was just one of the defensive tackles I didn't get to yet. I was in love with a lot of other guys. Once I started to put on his tape, I have loved this kid. I mean, love this kid. Plays violent hands, tons of power. And you're going to see him here. This is on a pass rush. Watch him use a double swipe here to just blast this center out. And now they get the ball out quick, but my goodness, that is winning early and quickly. Just right through. It's a good thing that they were running a screen pass, because and that center isn't just like letting him go by. That center is trying to slow him down and trying to block him. He doesn't just release and go out block somebody. He's trying to still block him as he goes by. Wins really quickly. He's right here, nose up over the center. Watch this bull rush. This kid has a nasty bull rush that he moves people.
He is just on rollers. That center's on roller skates going in the backfield.
When he commits to this bull rush, you can that does not look like a very good pass set to me. And the guard comes over to help, and he's still pushing the pocket. Like, he's got a nasty bull rush. It's real fun to watch. And then we're going to see him here in the run game. He's going to be here. They're going to try and do a little movement block again. He's going to establish a new line of scrimmage. And when we mean that is not vertical. That is now behind the line. They snap the ball here. The line of scrimmage is a yard or two in the backfield. This running back wants to run this outside. That's where he wants to go. But again, the penetration, and not just penetrating, driving your blocker into the backfield is what he's doing. And it forces a cut back up. It draws the tight end to come over and try and help. And now you have two unblocked guys that are able to go and tackle the running back. He's not going to get the credit on that play, but he absolutely caused that play.
That's a zero stat play, right? And he didn't get a tackle, he didn't get an assist, but he blew up the play.
Absolutely. And then he's got one of the nastiest, what we call butt rip moves. So it's where they're taught to drive your face mask into the chest of the defensive lineman or the offensive lineman, get him up on his heels a little bit, and then grab and rip. And he does this a lot, and he is one of the nastiest butt rips I've seen. So you're going to see here, ooh.
He throws the offensive lineman out of the way, and then he's literally one-on-one with the running back in the backfield.
Yeah. And he gets these guys out of the way quick. Just
how did he last until the fourth round?
So yeah, that was part of the questions I had as I was starting to watch this. I'm like, how did this kid last that long? Now, one, you had a really deep defensive tackle class. So that was part of it. Part of it was he doesn't bring you a ton of movement for the twists and the stunts that we see. So you're not going to get a lot of that. I mean, there's a little bit of unrefinement there, and I'm going to show that here on my next clip. Is that, he's got a little bit to learn. So they're going to try and run a little twist here. He's supposed to come inside. What I would like to see is him use his inside arm and grab the arm of this center and pull him that way to open up space for this looper to come around. So here he's just attacking the guard. I would like to see him grab this offensive lineman and pull him that way. You see Justin Smith do that all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So that his looper can come around and this center can't disengage and go get it. Now, there's still an opening there because the center just lets it go. But that I would still like to see a little more refinement there. Some ability to keep he doesn't have the best balance in those situations. That's part of why he doesn't always able to do that. That's some of why he fell to the 4th round. I think, again, because you had some undersized defensive tackles that had a little bit more quickness, and that's why a lot of people are looking to go. But when you see him here and this bull rush, this is the nastiest bull rush that maybe we have in this class.
Oh, man.
The only reason he doesn't push this center straight into the quarterback is because there's an illegal block that doesn't get called. So he's driving this guy down. He gets pushed in the back. That's an illegal block in the back. It's actually would be a clipping block because it's a block in the back with a guy that's engaged. Like that's not allowed. But he was driving that center into the quarterback's lap. Just nasty bull rush shows up over and over again. You're going to see it again. Here he is in kind of more of the not straight nose, but just watch the bull rush. He puts this guy on skates. I mean, just drives him into the quarterback. You see it over and over and over again. When he commits to that bull rush, there was not a center I watched. Now, I haven't watched every game, but not a center I watched who could hold up against his bull rush. It was nasty. Then you see what I talked about earlier about the duo blocks. You see him able to anchor against the double team. So they're going to bring the double team in here, and he anchors on, allows his linebacker to close the gap, which is the most important thing. And then they go. Now, this was an RPO, so it looks like a pass, but this line is run blocking. That's why I picked this one. They are run blocking. They're trying to move him, and they can't. There's no movement. He's able to hold up against the double team. And then I've kind of called him the destroyer of run blocks because they're going to try and block down on him, and he's here as the nose, and just watch him just nobody, like the power in the run game is wild. And so when you start thinking about him with Alfred Collins, man, like it's exciting to see, like, okay, we are talking about a very, very different looking run defense for the 49ers next year.
And that's going to help everything else, because if they're not able to run the ball, they're going to be in 3rd and long situations, longer distance. Then that's going to let Nick Bosa actually be able to rush the passer a little bit. It's going to have a sort of cascading effect. That's why the 49ers wanted to set up their defense this way from the beginning. This was always how it was supposed to work, and it's sort of eroded as time has gone by and players have aged, and the new guys that they have brought in, like Javon Kinlaw, haven't worked out. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. Like, I can't help but think, like, the cavalry's coming, basically, like finally we're going to get some people in here that can do something about this, so that if the 49ers don't have a lead, if they do have to come back, they're going to be able to stop the other damn team and gives themselves a chance to get back into the game.
Exactly. You can't just have the Rams sit there and be up by 3 points and run 8 times on you and bleed 8 minutes off the clock. And then now your offense can't run the ball. Now you are asking your below less than average pass blocking, to say, put it kindly, offensive line to hold up. Because, I mean, how many times do we see the offensive line get into failures because they're not operating in their strength in crucial moment of the game? That's which is a different topic altogether. But
well, and another part of this too, I feel like, because I've heard people say this about Purdy, like, so what happened last year was, like, the defense would make one stop and we'd be like, all right, Brock, come on, here's your chance. You got to get us back in the game. And if he didn't come through, it was like, well, that's it, because the defense ain't stopping him again. And so me personally, I know I was probably guilty of this. I would be like, damn, Brock's got to get it done in that spot. But the reality is, most of the time the quarterback's going to need multiple shots at it. I mean, unless you're friggin' Patrick Mahomes, which no one has ever said Brock Purdy is Patrick Mahomes. Like, you're not always going to come through every time. Sometimes you need your defense to make multiple stops in the game, so that I feel like next year, if Brock Purdy doesn't get it done on one drive, defense stops him again. Brock gets another chance, then they go down, they maybe make a play. All of a sudden, we feel differently about Brock Purdy. Hey, Brock is clutch. Brock got it done. He did what he needed to, Like, we don't see the way that all of this stuff works together and affects each other.
Absolutely. I mean, you think even back to the playoff game against the Packers in 2023, that everyone said we scored too fast. Now you give Jordan Love and you give him enough time to come back, and they can kick a field goal. They can win the game, right? That we're sitting there going, oh man, you left them too much time. But the defense was able to hold up and get the win. When you look at the 2 Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes has lost, his offensive line was getting absolutely thrashed in both of those games. So I do like the way that the Eagles have built their offensive line and the way that they've invested resources. It wasn't their offensive line that won that game. It was their defensive line that won that game. When you look at, when Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was running for his life the entire game. That their defensive line won that Super Bowl. So it really does come down to, you have to have a very dominant defensive line. And we have not had that since really DeForest Buckner left. And then Armstead left last year, and we have not been able to replace either of those guys. They were very clear. They were going out to find 2 guys who could hold down and eat up space on the interior of that line. But now we're going to move on to some Nick Martin. I know there's been some questions about this kid. The biggest thing that pops off tape with this kid is speed, speed, speed. He is a fast linebacker. I know there's questions about how much can he hold up being about 10 pounds lighter than Dre Greenlaw and about 9 pounds lighter than Azeez Al-Shire, but I like the idea. I don't know how well it'll work in practice, but I love the idea of 2 massive run-soaking defensive tackles, 2 massive run-soaking defensive ends, and super fast linebackers. But what you're going to see here now, this is not your vision out of focus this game. Whoever did the end zone camera, this game was out of focus the entire time. But you're going to see him run this down and chase down speed. I don't know why it's running at half speed. That's a little weird. Sometimes it does this. It's supposed to be running at full speed. I don't know why it does that.
So you can see he chases down the play and makes it.
Yeah. So here we're going to try and get it. I mean, it looks so funny. It's supposed to be playing at full speed when I hit it 100%. Here we go. Okay. You can see the closing speed. Go get it. Get that running back in the hole. When he sees it and he goes and gets it here, this is 4th and 2. So he's going to see this hole open up and he's going to fill it immediately. I like the aggressiveness. Boom, gets in there, stops the running back. He's able to hold up well enough in the hole. That ended up being a turnover on downs. We're going to see one of the questions is, how can he hold up when a tight end comes and blocks him? It's not always great, but he does fight through and he does have awareness of where the ball is going to be. So you're going to see him here take on this tight end. There's 83, excuse me, and engage. Now there's a little bit of a hold here, but he's going to engage and then reach out and pop the ball out. So we get a forced fumble. He's able to fight through the contact. He doesn't just give up. But the biggest thing is closing speed. So he's in a quarterback spy here. They were playing, I think it was Louisville, and their quarterback was running all over the field. He's very much a running quarterback. And so he was assigned quarterback spy here. So he doesn't move because of that. But once this quarterback takes off, watch the closing speed, the chase down speed.
Man, he can move when he
can fly.
Yeah, when no one touches him, like, I get it. I get the vision for the 49ers, right? Get the big hogs up front. They take up all the guys, and then you have 54, and you have Nick Martin just using their best ability, their chase and pursuit skills, to bring down the ball carrier. That does make sense in theory. Now, whether that they can get that theory to translate to the game is a different story, but at least I sort of understand the vision for what they wanted to do, because the Niners got killed for this pick.
Yeah, and remember Devondre Campbell, his lack of speed was such a liability for this defense last year, that the defense, even with their issues last year, looked 100% different It was a 180 when Dre Greenlaw came in and just brought speed from that linebacker position. I mean, I won't get into all the weeds on the scheme, but it's so reliant upon those linebackers being able to go from center field out to the numbers. Like, they've got to be able to do that. And so here, one thing you love is he plays with violence. So this running back's going to try and come up here and block him. Watch this collision as it happens. Kid plays with his hair on fire and violence. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
Wow, he that running back.
I mean, I'm not even mad that he's not chasing down the quarterback as he's going a different way. The violence that he puts on this running back is just awesome to see, because we wonder about a 220-pound linebacker. You know, how much weight do they bring to the collision? He's got it there. So then again, the ability to run and tackle, you're going to see him, the speed to chase and go. So they're trying to come with a quarterback power. He's got to sit and make sure they're not coming with a counter. But once he identifies it, watch the closing speed when he takes off. So there it is. Now he's going to go run.
Bam, and
he brings the violence.
Yeah, like he gets there with bad intentions and with force. You know, one of my common criticisms was, you know, a lot of times Dre Greenlaw was the only linebacker that would hit you, and then you would move. You know, like sometimes Fred got carried a little bit, taken for a ride. This, I like to see Nick Martin coming and, you know, the run ends, the play ends, the guy goes down.
Yeah, and when you really start looking at their linebackers, they're like D Winners, Azeez Al-Shaair, Dre Greenlaw. All of these guys have this exact same trait. They're fast, super fast, closing speed, and violence at the point of attack. Like, that's what they do. Here's another great example of this closing speed. So right here, okay, he's here, running back's here. This tackle is going to be made here. He has got to go farther than the running back. And watch the closing speed on a running back. That hole closes in a hurry. So, I mean, if I was to pause this in the film room and I said, oh man, we've got a home run shot here for a running back. Like, that's gone. This guy should not even be in the conversation as a linebacker, but it's not. That closing speed is so impressive to see when he runs and he hits. It's impressive. So that's where you really start to see the vision. Now, again, can he hold up in it? Can he stay healthy? That's been a problem with D Winners, right? D Winners was constantly coming out of games because he's not able to stay on the field. When guys play this violently and they're a little bit smaller, can they do it? Now, Luke Kuechly did it, but he was Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly was like 220, 225, and he played a very successful career in that undersized linebacker. But everything about the 49ers defense is trying to funnel everything back towards Fred Warner. So the ability to get out with those linebackers, get out to the numbers and funnel it back to Fred Warner has to happen. And we didn't have that with Devondre Campbell. He does bring that. Can he stay healthy? I have some questions about his coverage ability just because he wasn't asked to do it a lot. He was asked to spy the quarterback, like we saw in that, because he was the guy to chase him down. I mean, as we saw in that, he can. That is a very good skill of his. That's not his fault that he wasn't asked to do that a lot. I understand why they asked him to be quarterback spy, but it makes me go, can you work out numberings? Can you hit your landmarks? Can you not be fooled by the play action and get to your depth, drop your depth at time? He's not a home run hit. So I understand why people have been eviscerating the 49ers over this pick of maybe possibly being a reach. But when you talk about, and like Dieter said, it wasn't a super deep linebacker class. He was the fastest linebacker in this class, and it wasn't close. And when you look at that's what they prioritize most. I understand why they made the pick. I don't necessarily understand why they made the pick when they did. Maybe they had some info that somebody really liked him. I don't know. But I see the vision. We'll see if that vision actually comes to fruition.
Lisa's 49ers, thanks for the super chat, says, damn it, now I'm sitting at work with happy tears. See, that's what we do for you on this show. And I do agree with what Dieter said. He kind of responded to what I said, right? Like, oh, we could see the vision. We could see what they were thinking when they did that. And his point was like, yeah, that's great, but that's just a conceptual thing. And when you draft somebody, you're like, what can this guy do for us? But yet when teams are game planning against that person, they're thinking, what can they not do? And how do I force them to have to do that all of the time? And so the question with Nick Martin is going to be, hey, we're going to get a body on this guy. We can't just let this guy run around because he is that fast and he will make plays. So we have to figure out a way to get a body on him. And once they do, how does Nick Martin respond? Can he respond? Can he separate? Can he do all of those things and stay healthy while doing it? That's going to be the big question with him.
Yeah, and it's going to be what do they have to do to make that happen, to get a body on Nick Martin? And then does Robert Saleh have a good counterpunch to that of saying, okay, now that means you have to not block somebody else. Somebody has to be committed away from something else. Does that mean that now you're leaving Mykel Williams more one-on-one blocking? Are you asking a tight end to block Mykel Williams? That does not work at all. I did not see a single tight end in college that could block him in the run game. Are you now asking a center or guard to block Alfred Collins or CJ West one-on-one? Those become the questions. And how do you adjust off of that? How do you use that? Nick Bosa, I think it does create an interesting puzzle piece that Saleh is going to be putting together. I do see the vision, more this safety kind of guy like Fred Warner was when he came in. Do they see him as somebody who needs to put on some weight, that needs to kind of bulk up and, maybe lose a little bit of that speed, but not so much? I mean, he could gain 10 pounds and probably still be the fastest linebacker in this class. And so what do they ask him to do? How does he fit in there fully? That'll be fun to watch, and fun to watch his defensive line. I think the biggest thing my biggest concern through this whole year is exactly what we've had the last couple of years. You got to stay healthy, because I don't think the second wave line, if you're starting to have to plug Kevin Givens in there a lot, Evan Anderson in there a lot, Jordan Elliott in there a lot, I'm not as excited. I'm not nearly as excited with those guys as I am with these two guys. So can they stay healthy? Can Mykel Williams stay healthy? Can Nick Martin stay healthy? If so, you've got the makings of a really, really fun looking defense. But
and if they can stay healthy, then you let Kevin Givens just have to be Kevin Givens, right? Just be a reserve defensive lineman. I don't need you to be anything more than that. That's, when they say, oh, Chris Kocurek does such a good job with these guys. Yeah, because they don't have to be the number one guy. They can come in on a rotational basis, get, 4 or 5 sacks a year, something like that. And people are like, hey, look, he had a really good year. So again, one thing affects another thing. Nothing happens in a vacuum out on the football field. And so I'm very much looking forward to the new look defense, the front, the schemes with Robert Saleh. I know you joined me after Robert Saleh was hired, and we broke down some Jets tape. Heineman on Twitch says, Johnny, we need to grind some more solid Jets tape this offseason. See, everybody wants to see, what is the cool stuff that we're going to do? We know that Kyle Shanahan schemes up the offense. We've seen that. We want to see crazy stuff on defense, and hopefully we will, because we certainly didn't see it last year.
No, absolutely. I mean, definitely didn't see it last year. It was so underwhelming in so many ways. And I think the most frustrating thing was just watching the same problems be the same problems all year. And I look, I don't know. I wasn't there in the building. I don't know if some of the reasons we couldn't run some of the stunts and twists and the games was because they didn't get to it early enough in camp. Maybe the install, Nick Sorensen spent too much time on the early install and didn't get to the late stuff, because usually that's the last stuff that you install during camp. Did they not get to it? Were they then was their time management during the weeks not good enough? Because that's again usually the last stuff that goes in. Other than like 4th down and goal line. I wasn't in the building. I can't say why that stuff wasn't there more. Was it just looking at the players and saying, the players weren't able to fit this? I don't know. Whatever it wasn't good enough. And it did lead to Nick Sorensen losing his job. And so it in the end fell on him. So it's got to be corrected. And I do believe that Saleh, you have that understanding that this guy, if they fall behind, if that's one of the reasons, if they fall behind in the install, he knows it. He's been through this before. He says, I know we have to get to this day because I know how long these things take to put in and how long it does that. So we have to stay on the schedule. We have to get here. And he can run that entire staff side where it just always felt like Nick Sorensen was maybe a little bit in over his head.
Always over his skis. Yep. He was not, remember, he wasn't their first choice for the job. He wasn't their second choice for the job. They wanted Steve Spagnuolo. They asked for Bill Belichick. They inquired about Jeff Ulbrich, which maybe we dodged a bullet there. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like Sorensen wasn't the first, second, or third choice for a reason, and it didn't work. Saleh is here now, and hopefully it all does work out. Last question for you, Johnny, before I let you go, because I've been fascinated by this all week. 100 men or one gorilla? Who you taking?
Well, look, I think the natural history of the world has shown that worked out, that men were better than a gorilla. Even a few men were better than a gorilla because we had the ability to fashion weapons and tools. So I'm going to take 100 men because one of the guys is going to be a redneck out there who's going to end up using a stone to make a spear or something. I mean, like there's a reason there is. So I'm taking the 100 guys, no problem.
I don't know, man. I think I'm taking the gorilla. See, the problem is the gorilla is going to get tired. That's the only thing. But here's what's going to happen, right? So it's 100 men versus a gorilla, and the men charge, right? Those first like 4 or 5 guys are
they're going to get rocked,
ripped apart, and destroyed. And the other 95 guys are going to stop in their tracks and go, "Oh my God, this gorilla just ripped off that guy's face easily. I don't know if I want to do this anymore." I think you're going to get guys that switch teams and start fighting for the gorilla.
I mean, that is possible. That is possible. I have to give the edge to the 100 men because of the brain power. Somebody in there is going to figure something out. I mean, and the natural history of the world says that men we're not Planet of the Apes right now. So that's what I have to believe, but I could be wrong on that.
That's because the gorillas aren't organized. If the gorillas ever organized, I think we'd be in real
trouble.
We're
done. We're so done.
But anyway, I keep talking to my wife about it. She's like, "Rob, shut up. I'm done having this discussion with you. Spent 3 days. Stop." Because now I'm like, I Googled it. I was like, okay, human beings have fast twitch muscle fibers and slow twitch muscle fibers, and we're like 50-50. Well, a gorilla is 85% fast twitch muscle fibers. They are going to come at you faster and stronger than you know what to do with. I get it. I get it. I'm obsessed with it, but I'm still taking the gorilla. I don't care, man. I don't know what the odds are if Vegas ever came up with odds, but give me the gorilla.
Fair enough. I mean, I can understand your reasoning. I really can.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the first edition of the show. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. We really appreciate it. There's been a lot of positive comments about you joining the team here, Johnny. We're so excited about it. We will, we'll hit our stride here a little bit. We'll break down the things that you want to see. If there's anything you want specifically us to look at, let us know. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Pods. I promise you we will see it, we will read it, we will break it down and do it all for you. If you want more from Johnny, check out Johnny Dell's Football Academy on YouTube or search X for just at Johnny Dell, JONNYDEL. I promise you, you will be a better, smarter fan. This is the best part of the show, Johnny, because this is where I get to say, I'll talk to you next week.
Yes, absolutely. We are coming back at you next week.
Thanks, everybody.